Hey everyone. I thought I would do an update on the Lace Bracchies, show you where these guys are at. It's been about 2 months since I received them. I got them kind of at the end of shipping season for a lot of people back east. And they're coming along really nicely. They're still very small. It's a very slow growing fish. So they have a long way to go, but they are considerably larger than when I first got them. And I wanted to talk a bit about this tank because I'm not happy with it. I think it's a bit boring and a bit utilitarian, I guess. And it's evolved out of something I just kind of thought up for my cardinal brackies. And it's when you're talking about, fish in general, applies to a lot of things, I'm sure, but there's the brackies were something I kind of wanted to get to challenge myself a little bit and see what a difficult live bearer was like. And there's probably more than three, but I can think of three ways that fish are kind of difficult. And you can have a fish that has challenging water parameters, either soft or very soft or hard or turbid, kind of cloudy. Maybe they need a high current. And you can also have fish that have a challenging diet. The nice thing about a lot of live bearers is even in a pinch they'll take flakes. If you're running out of time or you have someone taking care of them, it's not so challenging or daunting of a task to hand off the care of your fish for a while if they can take flakes. And if they can't take flakes, then it becomes a more challenging deal, either for yourself and time management, or if you need someone to watch the fish while you're out of town or gone or unable to do it. So, and then probably the third way that fish can be real challenging is if they've got a behavior that makes it difficult to deal with them. Either they're very aggressive, they nip fins perhaps, or they're predatory towards their own fry or other fish. So all that to say, these guys fall into that third category. They are a bit challenging towards each other. They certainly chase. They need a lot of hiding spots so they can rest. And if you're really getting picked on, you can find refuge. And they are also very, very predatory towards their fry. So I have seen a poor, hapless little fry come out of the Java moss with my cardinal brackies to get some flake, only to just be consumed by one of the parents. So they need a lot of hiding spots, and even then, you still lose some. But I have not gone so far as taking out the fry. And in a lot of ways it's kind of good because it keeps the population to a manageable level, so I'm not just overrun with massive amounts of fish. So, but going back to this tank, it's got a lot of the, I've got the Java moss walls and this mountain of Malaysian driftwood, and let's see if I can back up a little bit, zoom out. And what I've done is I've basically just shoved guppy grass into it, and it doesn't really root into it, it just kind of winds around it, but it provides a spot where they can hide, and eventually the fry will hide. But I don't really like this tank. I want to challenge myself a little bit in terms of aquascaping for a challenging fish, but not having something that's just kind of utilitarian. I think you can certainly just throw a massive amount of Java moss into a tank and provide some refuge for fry, but I want to do something different. So I'm going to go ahead and change up this bare bottom tank and go ahead and put some substrate in. I've got the substrate, and I'll show that off in a little bit, but I wanted to show you some of the plants that are going in here, and the main one I'm going to use is this guy. And let's see if I can show it off. This is a Amazon sword. This is a Echinodoros hadai, the red pearl variety. And I think this is going to be good. They're not super tall, but they provide kind of a real mounding structure. And I'm hopeful that this will provide enough refuge for fry if I get a couple of these going in there. Get them up big that the mothers, it's mainly the moms, the females, won't consume them. So I've got a couple of these. I went to the fish store today and picked these up. So I'm going to go ahead and start aquascaping this, and then I'll show it off when it's done. Okay, so we're about 3 hours in, and the tank is rescaped. It took forever to pull out all the little bits of Java moss, and Java moss really wasn't the worst offender. It was the guppy grass. Guppy grass basically propagates by fragmenting. So you start to pull it out and it decides that I'm just going to fall apart on you and become a million pieces. So it took a long time to kind of clean this tank out. I used the column of, I had all these Malaysian driftwoods piled here, and I've got them spread across the bottom. My ultimate goal is to have the red pearls kind of grow, mound up over the top of those so that there's refuge underneath for fry and whatnot. I think I still need probably like something, I want to stay with this kind of monochromatic look, maybe a Wenti bronze, some kind of crypt in the middle that will contrast shape-wise with the two Amazon swords, but kind of be in that bronzy, reddish color palette. Because the substrate is, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's kind of in a kind of a brownish. It's not a true black, and it's more, more similar really to the Malaysian driftwood in color. And I think it's going to look really nice. The fish themselves, they like having an open place to swim, and they're doing really well. So we'll see how this tank goes. I'm happy to have kind of rescaped out of that. It was just looking a little industrial to me, a little bit more like a fish propagation spot versus a real landscaped look. I've got the corners, the two corners are mounded up. There's a rock in each corner that you can't really see, obviously, because it's covered, but it provides that height to the tank. And then this is the low area right in the middle. And I kind of like that. It's hard to escape a 10-gallon tank. There's not a lot you can do because you're kind of confined. But you can certainly provide a little bit of contrast. Ultimately, hopefully, it just fills in. And when these become their own, big mamas and they're just predatory on everything, hopefully by that time I've got enough plant growth to protect the fry. I'm a little nervous because if you looked at my Cardinal Brachy tank right now, it is packed. In fact, let me see if I can just move this, and I'll come down here and show you what the Cardinal Brachys are doing. Why not? There they are. They're looking great. Let me back up. Of course, I'm on the tripod, and I don't want to take the camera off the tripod. And so you can see this tank is really filled in. I've got basically just Java moss and Java moss. There's some, what I did is I ultimately took the Java moss wall that was off, that was on the wall, off, and there's some, I made some mesh kind of cages down at the bottom that are down here, and you can see there's a fry right here. I don't know if it's picking up, but basically she can't get in there, the two dominant females, and so they can hide, and then in this kind of volcano of wood there's guppy grass kind of coming up and around. And so you can see this tank is so full, I have to rip stuff out of it all the time to kind of give them some swimming room. But I have to say I've got a lot of fry in there, and I've graduated a lot of little fry. I'm almost to the point where I need to start a second colony because this tank is full, or sell some off. So that's where this tank is. Now if I go up and show you back this one, it's going to be a different deal. And I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I wanted to challenge myself to get a little different scape with some of these Brachyrhopis. So that's that tank, and we'll see where it goes. All right, thanks. Bye.